Hello, everyone. This is Southern Belle Whisper. I hope you all are doing well today. Hopefully, you can hear me okay. I'm trying to get the microphone a little bit closer to me. I have been seeing this tag everywhere. Some of my favorite ASM artists have did did this tag, and I thought I can do that because it's about books, and there's nothing that I love more than books. Sorry, just making sure my lipstick's okay. I'm also going to do this video outside because a lot of people seem to really like the video that I did outside the other day. I have my favorite sweater on. It's finally a little bit cool outside, so I finally get to wear my favorite sweater. But this is the ASMR book tag. This tag was created by the awesome and super relaxing ASMR Fleur. I hope I got her name right. But I am always watching her videos. She does so many great book related videos. All her videos are great, but she's definitely one of my favorite um, book related ASM artist when I just want to get some relaxation and calm down after a night from work. She's one of my go to ASM artists. So, and this tag has 25 questions, and then it has a this or that. Hopefully, I can get through them all. Um, but we'll see. We'll just start and see where we go. So the first question is, let me zoom in a little bit. When did you start, when did you start reading? What's your relationship to reading? I have been a reader for as long as I can remember. I'll never forget the first book I ever got. Uh, my brother's wife at the time got me. It was like one of the first audio books, it seems like, because it came on a CD. Um, or it was so far back, my memory's so bad, but it seemed like it was a CD. And then it had the book with it where you can follow along. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. But since that day, I have been an avid reader. And thank God my mom was also an avid reader, so she would read books and then I would read them. Uh, Books have always been an escape for me. My father was an alcoholic, and then my mom worked a lot, so I would just immediately pick up a book and escape for a little bit. Um, and I love these different types of worlds that I can escape into just to get out of daily life. Um, and I don't mean for that to sound depressing or anything, but a lot of people can agree that a good book is a great escape. Um, so I've been a reader for as long as I can remember, since I was 5. I told you guys before, I remember I used to want to read to my little friends when I was growing up, and they'd be like, "Okay, Kelly, you can read. I'd rather play Barbie, but yeah, sure, you could read." So, but I've always loved to read, always. Books are my friends. I didn't have many friends growing up, so I'm sorry if the sun shines and blocks me out. The sun is slowly rising, uh, but the books were like my friends growing up, and I just, they are my safe haven. Okay, number two, do you have a reading goal this year? What is it, and do you think you'll reach it? This year was the first time I've ever made a reading goal for myself on Goodreads. I put the goal as 30, but I think because I don't get to read that much unless I'm at work and I have some downtime, I don't get to read that much anymore. So I think I'm on number 17 right now, so I don't think that I will make that goal, but I at least hope to reach 20, which I think I will reach no problem. Um, but um, maybe next year. I started the goal towards the middle of the year this year, so hopefully maybe next year I can reach 30. We'll see. Hold on, there's a plane going overhead. Hold on. Okay, I think it's gone now, um, but next year I will definitely be prepared. So, 3. What genre do you enjoy reading the most and why? I don't really have a favorite genre. I love, uh, well, I kind of do. I love historical fiction. I love Christine Hanna. One of the last books I read was The Four Winds. Oh my God, that book destroyed me. And one of my friends from work recently finished it, and I can't wait to get to work to see how she liked it. Um, it was so funny. She was like, does this happen or this happen? No, 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 no. Don't tell me, don't tell me. That book was set during the Dust Bowl era, and I love Christine Hanna's writing. I think it's amazing how she can put herself in that passage of time. Like you can tell she really researches her books before she writes them, and it's just amazing. She's an amazing writer. She's one of my favorite authors, if not my favorite author. Um, and then I've also been getting more into fantasy lately. You guys would not believe, but other than Harry Potter, this year was the first time I've ever read a fantasy book. I think. I think back in the day I read the City of Ash or something, Cassandra Clare, like when I was a teenager. But I can't remember the last time I read a fantasy book. But I've been getting more into fantasy lately. Um, okay, so 4. What's your favorite book of all time and why? That is a very hard question because there are so many books that I love that I cannot pick. I will show you guys. I've showed you guys this book before. I swear, just airplanes, airplanes, airplanes. Hold on. Okay, this is my favorite memoir of all time. It's called A Piece of Cake. I've showed this to you guys plenty of times. Um, it's just an amazing book about just, I'll just read a little excerpt for you. There are shelves of memoirs about overcoming the death of a parent, childhood abuse, rape, drug addiction, miscarriage, alcoholism, hustling, gangbanging, near-death injuries, drug dealing, prostitution, and homelessness. Cupcake Brown survived all these things before she'd even turned 20. And I love this cover. I'll never forget checking out this book from the library and how just looking at the cover, I thought it was going to be a more laid back book. No, you definitely have to be in the right mindset to read this book. It's very intense, but it's just a great book about perseverance and overcoming obstacles. And it's very fun. She is very funny. I actually have her on my Facebook, and she's commented to me a couple times. And it's just a great, great book, especially if you've ever dealt with drug addiction or anything for that matter. It's just amazing, amazing book. And then, okay, so I'll just stick to that one because I only have 4 books out here with me. Uh, and I want to show them for different questions. So, alright, so, okay. So the next one is number 5. What is the worst book you've ever read? Okay, this book. This is The Mister by E.L. James. And if you recognize the name, it is the author of 50 Shades of Grey. And a friend from work let me borrow this. She said I was going to love it because I told her I was getting more into smutty books. I hated this book. I don't like DNFing books, so I finished it even though it was so hard to finish this book. This is definitely the worst book I've read this year. I can't remember a book that was worse than this one. It was just, the girl in this book has so many trust issues. She's always questioning the main guy's affections, and so pretty much it's a like a what is she? She's a house cleaner, and it's set in London. She's a house cleaner for this guy who's like a party animal and kind of one of those guys that sleeps around a lot and everything. His name's Maxim. He's like the best part of this book. Um, and her name is Alyssa. And of course, they fall in love. But there was a betrothed uh, that she ran away from back in her home state. Where was she from? I can't remember, but this book was so bad. It was so bad. I almost DNF'd it. I was very, very, very disappointed in this book. Don't even waste your time. Don't even waste your time. It has to be more than just sex to get my attention. It has to be a good plot too. And it was so repetitive, so with her trust issues and him running after her and la la la. I was just like, okay, I'm done with this book. Okay, what is your favorite book related trigger? Show us. I know I wish I had a hardback book to show you guys, but I think it was Frida ASMR. I found her through this tag, and she had like a hardback book where she was like doing like this. I love this sound of a book like this, and of course I love tapping, and I love page flipping, but I love it like this, like that little squeaky sound. I love that. I don't know if you guys can hear it or not, but I love tapping and page flipping. Just the typical awesome book triggers. Okay, alright. Number 7. Who's your favorite author and what draws you to their writing? I've already mentioned Christine Hanna, and I've told you why I love her writing. Um, just how she researches it and really puts herself in those scenarios. I think it's amazing. I used to be a big fan of Joey Picoult. I love her writing, and there's a book I actually want to read that I haven't read yet. It's on my TBR called Mad Honey. I have not read that one yet. I've been waiting for it to come out in paperback. Um, and then I love, who else do I love? Of course, J.K. Rowling, uh, Sarah J. Maas. Oh my God. I devoured. Sorry, excuse me for a second. I'm really sorry about that. I'm sorry if you guys saw that. I'm still dealing with like sinus issues. But I'm really sorry if you saw that little bubble. Um, but yeah, Christina Hanna, Sarah J. Maas is one of my favorite new authors. I love her because of the world building and the character building. Like she makes me like freaking adore every single character that she um, makes up and develops, and every single world she develops is just amazing. Um, but yeah, I really love her. Okay, number 8. What book has had the biggest impact on your life? Definitely Harry Potter. Harry Potter came into my life when I was 22 years old, and it just, I never knew there could be a book series like that. Um, it literally changed the way I looked at reading. Uh, it changed the way I look at life and the forces between good and evil. Um, because I love books where it's like good and evil because that's the way the world works. It's really how it works. Um, and I just love Harry Potter. I'm actually reading it right now. I'm reading the first one. I read them every year. This year is a little bit harder because I've read them. It'll be the 10th year this year, and I read them every year. So this one it's a little bit harder to get through because I read them every year. Um, but I'm going to make myself read them because I love them. 10. How do you choose which book to read next? Well, usually I'm reading a series, so it's not really hard for me to choose which book to read next because it's always the one after the one in the series that I finished. Um, or it depends on what season that we're in. Um, like right now it's October, so I'm reading Harry Potter. Next month, I think I want to read another airplane, you guys, I swear. Okay, there is somebody with a leaf blower, one of my neighbors, so there's nothing I can do about that, but I'm sorry if you guys can hear it. It's so annoying, I swear. Um, Next month, I really want to read the book, The Pumpkin Spice Cafe. Um, I've read a few uh, reviews on that one, and I heard that it's a very um, like warm and cuddly fall read, so that's probably the one that I'm going to end up reading next month, hopefully. And then December, I was thinking I want to read the Winter in Paradise series by Elaine Hildebrand. I really love her writing. Um, uh, Number 9, do you prefer reading physical books or ebooks and why? I prefer reading physical books, but this year I might have to get over it because my house is literally being overrun by books. So I've been asking around that one of my lovely family members will please buy me a like a Nook or a e-reader for Christmas, uh, because my house is literally there is a book everywhere at my house. So I'm gonna have to get over that. But there's something about having a book in my hand, a real physical book. It's just something special about it. I don't know. Oh, I skipped number 9. My bad. And then 10 was how do you choose which book to read next? Sorry, did that one. 11, do you have any reading rituals or habits? Like I said before, I don't really get any reading done unless I have downtime at work. Um, I always have to get myself comfortable, get my mind ready, maybe do some meditation, because most of the books I read is just so much information and so much to remember. Because I don't know if I've told you guys, but I have ADD, and it's really hard for me sometimes to remember certain things, like with Sarah J. Maas, like with the book Crescent City. I love that book, but at the beginning it was really hard to remember some of the facts and the places and the people. Um, but after a while, when I start getting into it, my mind processes it and it gets a little bit easier. 12. Do you antidote your books? If yes, what's your method? No, I do not. Antidote, that's where you put like the post-its and things. No, I do not. I don't, like with highlighting and everything, I don't like doing that. Nothing against people that do it. Um, but I just, I don't like doing things like that to my books. Um, but I can't say much because I talk here. 13. What's a quote from a book you still think about often? I love the Anne Frank quote. Diary Anne Frank, in spite of everything, I still believe that people are really good at heart. I love Anne Frank quotes. She was so strong. I remember when I read the Diary of Anne Frank and how it changed my life. I can't believe they're actually banning that book from schools now. It's so sad. And then most of the quotes from the Court of Thorns and Roses series, of course. There's just too many quotes that I love from that book. Number 14. What's the last book you read that you couldn't put down? The Court of Thorns and Roses. Couldn't put that down. I had to get to the next chapter. Had to get to the next, like with the last book in the series, the Silver Flames. Had to know what happened next. Even on my days off, it was all I could think about. Absolutely love that series, and Crescent City as well. I felt the same way about that book too. That movie. Oh, she's just an amazing writer. I can't say enough good things about her. Number 15. What's a book you've read recently that surprised you? Well, let's just. The reason this series surprised me was I didn't know at first if I wanted to read the series, if I was a fantasy fan at all. But the lovely Jubilee Whispers said, Kelly, you need to read this series. And I really respect her opinion on things. Hi, Jubilee. I love her. I'm so glad I can call her a friend and not only one of my favorite ASMR artists, but she was so right. I cannot say enough good things about this series. Um, like I said before, I ordered the first two books, which is The Court of Thorns and Roses, and then I think this is the second one. The second one's the best one. Mist and Fury is amazing. I love me some Rhysand, man, and Cassian and Ezreal and everybody else in this series. It surprised me so much how much I loved this series. It was just, I love this series so much. It's so good. Okay, so let's see, what is the next one? Next question is, what's a book that disappointed you? I've already showed it. The Mister by E.L. James. I was thinking that if she wrote 50 Shades of Grey, which I liked a little bit better, but I thought it was going to be a lot better than that. That was horrible. And then another one was The Dutch House. When my brother passed away, I asked a lot of people what was the book that was centered around the sibling relationship, and I just thought it was so boring. I finished it, and it got so many good reviews, but I thought it was so boring. That's one of my least favorite books. Another one of my least favorite books I read this year. Come on. Okay. 17. What book do you think has the prettiest cover? I showed you a piece of cake. So that one is very pretty. And then Demon Copperhead was another cover that I thought was very pretty because it literally has all the emblems that is in the book. This is probably my favorite book I read this year. I definitely recommend it. But like with the piece of cake, it deals with a lot of triggering material, so you have to be in the right mindset to read this book. It talks about, drug addiction and pretty much drug addiction and just life, and I think it's set in Virginia too. Like when I was reading this book, I was like, I know where that is. What? I mean, so it was just such an amazing book. Like I said, it's my favorite one that I've read this year. It's so amazing. I know it's a longer book, but I literally devoured this book because, like with the little emblems, it has a boy flying a kite and a radio and a snake because he's called Demon Copperhead. That's what people call him. And it's just an amazing book. Alright, let's see. I hate that I had to keep put my digits into this phone. Okay. What's 18? Which book in your collection has the tingliest cover? That one. Okay. I wish I could have brought more books out here. Even though I hated this one has a very squeaky cover. Even though I hated it, it does have a very triggering cover. Oh god, stupid leaf blower. Okay. 19. Which book do you think has the ugliest cover? I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think, you guys. Which book in my collection that has the ugliest cover? Same thing. The Mister. There's nothing special about this cover at all. It's ugly. I don't like the pink, uh, the hot pink. Uh, yeah, I hate that cover. But I like it because it's tingly. Um, 20. What is your favorite trope? What is that word? What is trope? Hold on, let me look this up. What is trope? What is an example? Trope. So words are used in a non-literal sense to create a powerful image. Chicago's worker bees. Um, Anything that Sarah J. Maas writes. I can't pick my favorite, but the way she writes and how descriptive she is, I love when the author is very descriptive. 21. What's a book you've read that you would recommend to everyone? Demon Copperhead, the Sam Hell. Oh man, The Extraordinary Life of Sam Hell. I love that book too. A Court of Mist and Fury, the whole series actually. Piece of Cake. And I think that's about it. And Harry Potter, of course, but I don't know if many people that haven't read Harry Potter. 21, or nope, that was 21. 22, do you prefer standalone books or series and why? I prefer series because it takes a little bit longer to finish, and if a story is really, really good, I want to continue. I don't want it to just stop with just one book, especially if I have a lot of questions and I need answers, or if there's a relationship that I love in the book. I just love series much better than standalone books. 23. Do you have a favorite book to movie adaptation? Yes, The Fault in Our Stars and The Help. The Fault in Our Stars, The Help, and you guys, I cannot wait to see Killers of the Flower Moon. 19 Days. I'm so excited about that one because the book was a little bit boring, but considering the movie is made by Martin Scorsese, I know it's going to be amazing. 24. What's a book that you've been meaning to read for a long time but haven't gotten around to it yet? Mad Honey by Joe Picoult. There are so many books that are on my TBR though. Like that Hooked series I've heard so much about. Any smutty fantasy series, it's definitely on my list. I think that's it. I love that I figured out that I can pause my phone because my husband didn't know I was out here and walked out and was like, "Oh, I didn't know you were out here." Um, there's just so many books, but those are the top of my list. I thought there was a bug on my hair, but it was literally my hair falling down. I don't like bugs. Okay, 25. Do you have a particular book that you like to revisit or reread every few years? Harry Potter. Read it every year. And I'll probably end up reading the Court of Thorns and Roses series again too, because I read it so quickly that I probably forgot about half the info that was in that book. This or that, quick fire. Fiction or nonfiction? Oh man, I love both. So I'm going to say both. I love a good nonfiction book, but I love fiction too, especially fiction that's like Christine Hanna, that's written like a nonfiction book. Hardcover or paperback? Definitely paperback. I'm not a big hardback fan at all. Romance or thrillers? Romance. I have gotten more into thrillers, though. I have a few on my TBR that I haven't read yet. Comedy or tragedy? Comedy. But I love a good tragedy too. I love a book that makes me cry. Classics or contemporary? Contemporary. I cannot read classics. I do not like classics. Library or bookstore? Oh man, this is so hard. Because I love the smell of a bookstore. Every time I walk in Barnes& and Noble, I'm like, oh my god, it smells so good in here. So I'm going with bookstore. I love a library, but bookstore. Indoors or outdoors? Indoors. Because right now it's getting a little bit hotter outside and I'm starting to sweat. Sofa or bed? I love my bed. Love my bed. But I don't like reading in bed. So I'd say sofa uh, to read. I don't read in bed. In silence or with music or sounds? In silence. Book talk or booktube? Book talk, definitely. I am sorry about all the noises. Hopefully the microphone drowns it out a little bit. And thank you, ASMR Floor, for making this tag. It was a bunch of fun. I'm sorry I didn't have as many book triggers as I wanted, because I know a lot more people had a lot more book trigger sounds. But this was so much fun, and I will be talking to you guys soon. And I love you guys, and I will talk to you later. Okay, bye bye.